Have you ever found yourself wrestling with an overweight suitcase, paying eye-watering baggage fees, or sprinting through a foreign airport only to discover your checked bag is still on the tarmac back home? The good news is that seasoned travelers have already made and fixed those mistakes for you. They have learned exactly which objects silently siphon away space, money, and peace of mind, and they have trimmed them from their lists without regret. What follows is a deep dive on everything you need to pack for your journey. By the end, you will not only know what to leave behind, but also why letting go of each item sets you up for smoother, smarter journeys in 2025 and beyond. Let's begin with the miniature bottles that line the shelves of every pharmacy's travel aisle. Those brightly colored 1-ounce shampoos and lotions look harmless, but they are highway robbers in disguise. They cost far more per ounce than full-size products. They generate mounds of plastic waste, and half the time, the formula inside isn't even the brand you know and trust. Frequent flyers have broken the habit by investing once in TSA-approved silicone containers. The upfront price is less than the cost of 5 or 6 high-margin miniatures, and the benefit keeps paying dividends. Refill those soft bottles with your own shampoo, conditioner, or face wash. Label them clearly with a strip of painter's tape, and you will never again stand in the checkout line wondering whether grapefruit-scented 2-in-1 kid's body wash is close enough to your regular routine. Even better, you avoid the silent anxiety that accompanies an unfamiliar product reacting badly with your skin halfway through a long trip. Less cash, less trash, zero risk. That is the trifecta the smartest travelers chase when they downsize their liquids. Once the grooming gear is sorted, attention turns to linens. Specifically, the bulky bath towel many people still cram into a carry-on, just in case. Towels seem innocuous. They fold, they squish. In a pinch, you can even sit on one at the beach. Yet a single cotton bath sheet can swallow half the interior volume of an overhead bin suitcase. Hotels learned long ago that providing towels is part of hospitality. So did most resorts, cruise ships, and an ever-growing number of short-term rentals. If you absolutely must have your own towel, perhaps you are headed to a rural homestay or a remote dive camp. Seasoned travelers point to microfiber. Even then, they warn that microfiber never feels like the plush terry cloth back home, and drying your body with what amounts to a chamois can be an exercise in frustration. If you cannot tolerate that compromise, consider buying a cheap towel at your destination and gifting it to another traveler when you leave. It will cost less than an airline's checked bag fee and will spare you wrestling a damp, sandy mass back into your suitcase. Next comes the wider category of amenities that accommodations already provide. Hair dryers, irons, steamers, umbrellas, basic shampoo, disposable razors. These show up on hotel room counters and inside Airbnb closets with increasing reliability. When you free your liquids bag from a redundant bottle of conditioner, you create room for something genuinely scarce at your destination, like reef-safe sunscreen at a beach resort, where a tiny tube can sell for $10 and up. A quick scan of your booking confirmation, or a 30-second call to reception, will reveal whether the property supplies umbrellas during rainy season or charges to borrow an iron. Having that information up front lets you swap bulky gadgets for a single palm-sized bottle of wrinkle release spray that handles minor creases without hogging suitcase real estate or electrical outlets. Every cubic inch reclaimed at home is a cubic inch available for souvenirs abroad. With the small stuff pared down, it is time to confront the elephant in the departure lounge: checked baggage. Plenty of people cling to the comfort of a big suitcase, but the tide is turning. Airlines in 2025 monetize everything and are checked. Bag can run $60 each way on transcontinental routes. Worse, if your itinerary involves a domestic hop within Europe, Asia, or Australia, those low-cost carriers will happily charge again and may weigh your bag to the gram. The veteran traveler voluntarily steps into a smaller box, a single carry-on, forces smarter decisions, accelerates every connection, and erases the gut-dropping moment at baggage claim when the carousel empties and your suitcase never appears. Carry-on only is not a stoic act of self-denial. It is a freedom pass. You roll straight out of the arrivals hall, bypass taxi queues by hopping on public transit, and never break a sweat lugging a 50-pound spinner across cobblestones while searching for a hotel with no elevator. Once you have felt that liberation, it becomes hard to justify giving it up. Liberation does not mean chaos. Organization matters, but there is such a thing as over-organizing. Retailers sell dedicated pouches for cables, passports, cosmetics, even slip covers for airplane tray tables. Each promises tidy compartments and color-coded serenity. In reality, these single-purpose organizers consume more space than they save. Frequent flyers prune sharply. A single quart-size zip-top bag handles cords, adapters, and spare earbuds with ease. A set of mid-weight packing cubes corrals clothes by category while doubling as laundry bags on the return leg. Everything else is dead weight. Zip bags collapse to nothing, and cubes compress halfway when half full, unlike stiff cases that stubbornly occupy the same volume, whether empty or stuffed. By paring down organizers, travelers avoid the Russian doll problem of pouches inside bags, all of which become a headache at security when an agent needs to inspect one cord buried 4 layers deep. Another supposed travel essential that dies on closer inspection is the classic U-shaped neck pillow. It looks cozy in the airport gift shop and feels heavenly during a quick test nap at the gate. But once the plane lands, it transforms into a clumsy donut swinging from your backpack strap, knocking strangers in tight subway cars, and hogging locker space in hostels. Veterans prefer multi-use solutions. A rolled-up merino hoodie serves as neck support in flight and warmth during chilly evenings. Many long-haul carriers now install adjustable side wings on headrests that cradle your head without any extra gear. For those who truly need a pillow, the inflatable models shrink to postcard size when deflated and do double duty as lumbar support on bus rides. The lesson is simple. Anything that works for only 6 hours of a 2-week trip is a luxury, not a necessity. Clothing choices offer another fertile field for optimization, starting with traditional denim. Regular jeans take forever to dry, weigh as much as 3 pairs of technical pants, and resist folding into neat cubes. Yet few want to abandon the timeless look of denim. Technology rides to the rescue with stretch-woven travel jeans that mimic the appearance of indigo, but shed water, resist wrinkles, and move like athletic leggings. They deliver comfort on 12-hour flights, look crisp after a sink wash and overnight hang, and unlike cotton denim, dry before dawn. Switching just 1 pair of heavyweight jeans for a lighter alternative can shave 2 pounds off your load and free space for a compact rain shell or an extra pair of shoes. In an era when budget airlines threaten to weigh your carry-on at the gate, those pounds translate directly into stress relief. Compression technologies promise additional space, but there is a catch. The vacuum seal bag that shrinks sweaters to pancake thickness seems genius until you reach your destination without a vacuum to reverse the process. Then you face an impossible puzzle. Reinflate the clothing or surrender and carry an overstuffed bag on the journey back. Even standard zipper-style compression cubes can backfire if they let you squeeze in 3 weeks of outfits for a 1-week holiday, tipping your bag past airline weight limits. Experienced travelers deploy moderate compression, not so much that garments emerge as wrinkled origami, but enough to tame bulkier fabrics. They also remember that weight, not just volume, triggers fees. Cubes, therefore, become tools of discipline, rather than license to overpack, reminding you that less truly is more. Money matters too, both in the literal and figurative sense. Once upon a time, travelers stopped at a bank or airport kiosk to collect envelopes of foreign currency. Exchange counters prey on convenience, offering poor rates and high commissions. The modern road warrior lands with a no-fee ATM card tied to an account that rebates withdrawal charges worldwide. With a 4-digit PIN and a bank that eats the extra costs, you gain access to local cash at the interbank rate, often the most favorable available to individuals. Drawing modest sums as you need them minimizes the fallout if your wallet is lost or stolen. One cardinal rule governs every machine: always choose to be charged in the local currency and decline dynamic conversion, those helpful on-screen. Prompts mask hidden markups that quietly steal several % of your budget. The result of switching to in-country withdrawals is lighter pockets, lower risk, and more money for experiences instead of fees. The greatest transformation lies in the mental realm, banishing just in case from your vocabulary. That spare formal outfit for the hypothetical fancy dinner, the extra pair of heels you might wear once, the action camera you bought on sale but have never used, the folded poncho despite a desert forecast, each originates from a vague fear of unpreparedness. Seasoned travelers replace fear with trust. Trust that a city full of shops can sell an emergency umbrella for $5. Trust that their smartphone's camera will capture memories without a DSLR. Trust that vacation is for relaxation, not Sudden fitness epiphanies requiring brand new workout gear. When you put an item on the bed and hear yourself say, "Just in case," pause and picture hauling it up a 4th floor walk-up, or explaining overweight fees at the gate, 90% of the time. You will set it aside and never miss it. The remaining 10% you can address on location for less money and hassle than you expect. Medications deserve their own moment because they straddle the line between optional and mandatory. Over-the-counter pills come in bottles sized for a family of 6 on a month-long cruise, not a solo traveler's week away. Pouring a rational number of pain relievers, antihistamines, or vitamins into a tiny organizer cuts ounces without affecting safety. Prescription drugs, however, demand stricter treatment. Always pack the full course plus several days cushion. Keep them in original labeled containers and carry a paper or digital copy of the prescription. Customs officers and security screeners care less about the quantity than about clear documentation proving legitimacy. Properly packed prescriptions ride in your personal item under the seat, never in a checked bag, protecting you from the nightmare of separation from critical medicine. Practical minimalism is not about denial. It is about focusing your resources where they matter most. After shedding unnecessary weight, you will notice unexpected dividends. Navigating metro turnstiles with one hand free, hopping onto an intercity train seconds before departure, even squeezing into a tiny cafe without knocking over chairs becomes effortless. You will also discover a psychological lightness. Decisions come faster when the wardrobe is tight but versatile. Worry evaporates because everything important is within reach overhead, not circling on a conveyor belt guarded by strangers. Travel begins to feel less like a logistical gauntlet and more like the adventure it was meant to be. As you internalize these lessons, remember that the goal is not to keep score about how little you bring. It is to align what you carry with how you actually live on the road. The perfect packing list is personal, but it is never static. Each trip teaches new truths. Maybe you learn that 2 pairs of shoes are your sweet spot, or that you can shave toiletries even further by embracing solid shampoo bars. The point is to iterate, observe, and refine. So, before your next departure, lay everything on the bed and interrogate each object. Does it earn its place with undeniable utility, or is it riding along on habit? Will it serve multiple purposes, or is it a one-time specialist that creates more hassle than help? Can you rent, borrow, or buy it cheaply at your destination? When you reassemble your streamlined kit, zip your carry-on closed with ease, and hoist it effortlessly to eye level, you will feel the quiet confidence of someone who controls their gear instead of the other way around. Travel in 2025 rewards agility. Airlines prize revenue over loyalty. Cities grow more crowded. Accommodations range from capsule hotels to countryside farm stays. Amid that complexity, the ability to pick up your single bag and move quickly, smoothly, without breaking stride is a superpower. Every eliminated bottle, towel, gadget, and anxiety item buys you a little more of that power. It clears the path for the moments that matter. The first bite of street food, warm from the grill. The sunset over a skyline you have dreamed of seeing. The conversation with a stranger who becomes a friend because you had the bandwidth to say hello instead of wrestling zippers. In the end, packing light is not about minimalism for its own sake. It is about maximizing presence where you are, fully and without distraction. And that, more than any souvenir you could cram into a suitcase, is the treasure you will carry home.